Maria Shriver honors the life and legacy of Tatiana Schlossberg. Remembering love, courage, and a life lived fully grief has a way of stopping time. For Maria Shriver, the final days of December brought an overwhelming wave of sorrow as she mourned the loss of her cousin, Tatiana Schlossberg, who died on December 30th after a year-long battle with myeloid leukemia. Tatiana was just 35 years old. She was a writer, a mother, a daughter, and a beloved member of one of America's most well-known families, the granddaughter of President John F. Kennedy and the daughter of Caroline Kennedy. Yet beyond her historic lineage, Tatiana was first and foremost a human being whose life was defined by curiosity, humor, intelligence, and love. In a deeply emotional Instagram post shared on the day of Tatiana's passing, Maria Shriver opened her heart publicly, offering a raw and unfiltered expression of grief that resonated far beyond her immediate family. Returning to social media for the sole purpose of honoring her cousin, Shriver explained that she felt compelled to speak, not for attention, but for remembrance. Her words reflected disbelief, heartbreak, and an aching sense of injustice that often accompanies the loss of someone taken far too soon. Shriver wrote that she could not make sense of Tatiana's death. There were no explanations that felt adequate, no answers that offered comfort. The pain, she suggested, existed in a space beyond logic, a space many grieving families recognize all too well. A battle fought with relentless determination, Tatiana Schlossberg's final year was marked by extraordinary resilience. In the weeks before her death, she published a deeply personal essay in The New Yorker, documenting her experience living with cancer. In it, she described the grueling medical journey she endured, including chemotherapy and 2 bone marrow transplants. The stem cells for those transplants were donated by her sister Rose, a powerful testament to the closeness of the Schlossberg family and the lengths they were willing to go to fight alongside her. Maria Shriver highlighted this essay in her tribute, emphasizing the courage it took for Tatiana not only to endure such treatments, but also to articulate her experience with honesty and clarity. Writing became one of the ways Tatiana asserted control, in a situation where so much felt uncertain. Even while facing an aggressive illness, she continued to engage deeply with life, ideas, and relationships. Shriver made it clear that Tatiana did not give up. On the contrary, she fought with everything she had. She loved her life, Shriver wrote, and she fought fiercely to remain in it. This was not a quiet or passive battle. It was one waged with determination, hope, and a refusal to surrender her identity to illness. Remembering the person, not the diagnosis. One of the most striking elements of Maria Shriver's tribute was her insistence on remembering Tatiana not by how she died, but by how she lived. She painted a vivid picture of a woman whose presence brought light and laughter into every room. Tatiana, Shriver wrote, was brilliant, wicked smart, as she affectionately described. She possessed a sharp mind and a quick wit, paired with a sense of humor that could disarm and delight. She was sassy, fun, and deeply caring. These were not surface-level traits, but qualities that shaped her relationships and defined her role within her family and community. Shriver listed the many roles Tatiana filled so completely: daughter, sister, mother, cousin, niece, and friend. Each title represented a relationship built on love, trust, and mutual support. In every role, Tatiana showed up fully, offering warmth, intelligence, and authenticity. This emphasis on Tatiana's humanity is especially meaningful given the public attention surrounding her family. While her last name carries historical weight, Shriver's words made clear that Tatiana's true legacy lies in the way she connected with others, not in her lineage, but in her character. A family united by love and loss. In her message, Maria Shriver also took time to honor Tatiana's family, praising their unity and unwavering devotion throughout her illness. She described how they came together, doing everything within their power to help Tatiana survive. This collective effort was rooted in love, not obligation, a shared belief that she was worth fighting for every single day. The bond between the Schlossberg sisters was particularly poignant. Rose's decision to donate stem cells twice underscored the depth of that relationship and the hope that sustained them through months of uncertainty. Even when outcomes were unclear, the family chose action, compassion, and presence. Shriver's acknowledgement of the family's efforts served as a reminder that serious illness affects far more than one individual. It reshapes entire families, drawing them closer even as it tests their emotional endurance. In honoring their commitment, Shriver validated the quiet heroism of caregivers, those who stand beside loved ones through every appointment, setback, and moment of fear. The pain of a life cut short. At just 35 years old, Tatiana Schlossberg's death feels particularly devastating. It represents unrealized time, years not lived, moments not experienced, milestones not reached. For Maria Shriver, this reality was impossible to reconcile. Her words conveyed a sense of existential shock, the kind that comes when loss defies any sense of order or fairness. "I cannot make any sense of it," she wrote. The repetition, none, zero, spoke volumes. It captured the emotional paralysis that often accompanies grief, especially when the person lost was vibrant, young, and deeply loved. Shriver did not attempt to find silver linings or offer platitudes. Instead, she allowed the pain to exist as it was, raw, unresolved, and deeply human. In doing so, she created space for others to acknowledge their own grief without pressure to explain or justify it. A public tribute, a private grief. While Maria Shriver is no stranger to public life, her tribute to Tatiana felt intensely personal. It was not a polished statement or a formal announcement, but a genuine expression of mourning. By sharing it publicly, Shriver bridged the gap between private grief and communal remembrance. For many who read her words, the post served as a reminder of grief's universality. Loss does not discriminate by status, wealth, or family name. Even those whose lives unfold in the public eye experience the same heartbreak, confusion, and longing as anyone else. Shriver's decision to share Tatiana's story also ensured that her cousin would be remembered not as a statistic or headline, but as a fully realized person. In a world saturated with fleeting news cycles, this act of remembrance gave Tatiana's life and her voice lasting presence. The power of storytelling in the face of illness. Tatiana Schlossberg's New Yorker essay stands as one of her final contributions to the world. In it, she documented her experience with illness not as a victim, but as a thoughtful observer of her own life. By writing openly about her medical journey, she offered readers insight into the emotional and physical realities of cancer, without reducing herself to it. Maria Shriver's reference to this essay highlights the enduring power of storytelling. Even in her final months, Tatiana chose to create, reflect, and communicate. Her words now serve as a testament to her courage and intellect, allowing others to learn from her experience long after her passing. This act of writing was not just an expression of pain, it was an affirmation of life. It demonstrated Tatiana's refusal to be silenced by illness and her desire to remain engaged with the world around her, carrying forward a legacy of love. As Maria Shriver concluded her tribute, the central message was clear. Tatiana Schlossberg was deeply loved, and her impact will endure. While her life was tragically brief, it was rich in connection, meaning, and joy. Those who knew her will carry her memory forward. In conversations, in laughter, and in the values she embodied. Loss changes people, but remembrance sustains them. Through her words, Shriver ensured that Tatiana's light would not fade quietly. Instead, it would continue to shine through stories shared, lessons learned, and love passed on. In honoring her cousin, Maria Shriver offered something rare and powerful, a reminder that even in the face of unbearable loss, bearing witness to a life well lived is an act of profound respect. Tatiana Schlossberg's story does not end with her death. It lives on, in her family, in her writing, and in the hearts of all who remember her.